Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today's video, I just want to give you my pre-season 6 analysis, where I'm currently up to, some of the work I've got in the pipeline at the moment I want to share with you later in regards to some of my AI related tools that I'm looking to build out, give you a bit of a sneak peek. Not quite ready yet for publication, but I'm making headway at the moment, and just some general updates about the clubs, because I've got two now, and my planning, what I've done to get things ready for Season 6, and any further insights that I feel I can give you an update on the club situation. Before I jump into that, I just want to say thank you very, very much to everyone who has been tuning in and watching the channels. I've had some great engagement on socials, great engagement on some of the videos, lots of comments, lots of interactions. I'm almost at, I think, a combined 600 views. I've just had one of my videos. It says 199 there. It keeps fluctuating between 199 to just over 200. Hoping to break that barrier soon. And I'm up to 33 subscribers. So if you are watching this and you aren't subscribed, please do me a solid. I'd love to hit that 50 mark during the course of this new season. If not, push on beyond that. And I need your help doing that. So I want to share all the insights I can gather with as many people as possible. So if you don't mind doing so, I'd really appreciate that. So before I jump into everything to do with my analysis and what I've done so far, I'm just going to give you a quick sneak peek of what I've been working on. Now, this is my player projection tool. I have been using command prompts to build this out, using AI to support with that, and looking to implement using the white paper, using probabilities, using past experience, how much progression a player's had so far, how many career appearances they've had, estimating. It says XP, estimate there. It's a factor that I need to do some further refinements to try and do some estimations as to how much potential theoretically could we expect from an individual player. It's not foolproof. It's not refined as much as I want to be as of yet. So it's not ready for public release yet as to a model that you can adopt and plug in and play with. But what I will say is I have been sending some questions off to MFL through the help option down here. I really do appreciate their transparency and their support and basically their feedback. They're very responsive. I know they're super busy preparing for Season 6, but I'm getting the response here. They have been very supportive. I wanted to clarify that before I did so, that scraping the site for data to aid me in this was not breaking terms of service, basically. And they were happy for me to do so, but as you can see here, how often I do that and the amount of requests it pushes through the site, don't want to put undue pressure on their servers and things of that sort of ilk. So sparingly gather some data and then input it into the work that I'm doing. I really do appreciate the support. I don't know if they watch the content, but it is very much appreciated. So if you ever have any issues, queries or questions, or maybe the odd suggestion or two, that is an option you can explore, as well as the Discord server as well, because I know they've got a section for that. So you happen to be brand new to MFL though, I'm going to include my referral link in today's video description. Once you've signed up using that link and you spend your first $25, so the three starter packs at the start of your journey, you'll get 2 players per pack, fairly decent odds for better quality of players. You'll receive an additional common player. If you do so, I will also receive an additional common player, and the more referrals I get, the further I move along this track to help support my progress with my agency. If you choose not to use mine, that's totally fine, but make sure you use someone's. There's plenty out there. Don't miss out on that free common player, especially if you happen to get a youngster, a teenager effectively. They can fetch a decent amount of money. You can sell that player on if you don't want to keep it yourself to fund further additions and help build out your agency further. So now I bring you over to my agency. If you haven't seen my last video, I released a video me live reacting to my packs that I was looking to be able to secure in the preseason pack drop. You can see a few of the individuals here, the shiny new green ones. Overall, up to 57 players in total, because I did a bit more investments. I wanted to get 2 standard packs, didn't quite get there in time. My own fault, if I'm really honest. Bit of a technical issue on my part. So I used the rest of the funds I had already had in my depot account to invest in certain other areas, such as Mr. Fernandez here, Borg, Wade, Paul, Marie. There was a fair few. As well as then analysing what I had across 2 clubs. I like to aim for sort of 22 players in each agency. I've now got my main team, the Peacocks, who were the cup winners last season, and the Peacock Reserves team as well. So once I did that, I decided to make use of AI and downloading data and compiling it all onto a separate spreadsheet to map out these 2 clubs here. Let me just zoom out one more time for you. So at this point, I started mapping out, okay, who would fit in what squad and where are the strengths and where do I need to strengthen different teams. Down here, I've got a template that I used for mapping out how many players I had in each squad, what positions they play, what's the overall, because in particular, trying to attack that top 16 average to try and get as close as possible to minimise training penalties. If you aren't familiar with the white paper, let me locate it. Here you go. This is in relation to the difference in quality, strength and quality of players within your club. If you have too much of a variance between the top rated player to the average, it's the training XP penalties that you can see here. I was trying to minimise that as much as possible. My 2 brand new guys, one's going to be 5 above the average, one's going to be 6, so I am accepting basically I'm going to get some training XP penalties. But I tried to factor that into both the planning for both squads, because we've got 50 and we've got 60 average there. Tried to factor that in, trying to identify targets who are brand new to the game or had very minimal development, if any at all, even though they've had a lot of game time so far in their career, because I know everyone's guaranteed to get at least a +1. It's going to help hopefully boost the average rating of all these players, keep bumping that up hopefully over the course of this season to try and secure a slightly higher top 16 average and minimise the training penalties. What I also did is map out, okay, who's going out on loan, because I had a few people who dropped down from either of these teams, and or I just didn't quite have a position in either of my team for them. One of them was Brito here. He was someone who came in during the pack drop. He was one of my limited players. Very tidy little left back, if I'm honest, 21 years old, brand new. I very much encourage you to engage on socials if you want to start making contacts with other managers and agencies. Did so through Twitter and Discord. Had a good bit of rapport with the chap who was this club here. I can't remember the name of the chap on here, Rivs. Loaded him a few different players, negotiated over them, guaranteeing a certain amount of game time, things of that sort of ilk. And equally did that with a few other individuals. I've still got 2 out on loan. I think they're both 44 rated. I've basically got them up, I think, for 1% rev share, auto accept. If you happen to be in the market for a couple of players and you want to discuss loaning them, I'm totally open to a discussion. I'm just chancing my arm at that 1% rev share. Better than nothing, eh? And I also thought, you know what? I've got a player who was really on the fringes of everything. So I chucked him into the development centre. Had a tiny bit of MFL left over after basically opening a couple of common player packs with my MFL winnings last season. Put him in for 3 seasons, couldn't afford 4. I just want to try it out basically and see what benefit comes from it and just use it again for factoring into some of the work that I'm doing around player progression and things like that. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly walk you through the 2 clubs. We've got Peacocks, waiting obviously for the season to start soon. What date are we starting on? I know the season starts next Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday the 11th. We'll have our first training session and the first matches. As to, I imagine, come Monday the 9th, we'll find out what league you're in, as in which number league, who your other clubs that are in your league, and then you can go ahead and have a look and evaluate, okay, how good is my squad in comparison to. The nice thing is the transfer window does continue up until the end of next week, the Friday. I imagine this will be Friday morning. Yeah, 11 a.m. I don't know if that's local time to me. I imagine that's going to be 10 a.m. for me, being in England. However, do double check for yourselves. Once I know, okay, who's else in my league, I can assess how strong is my squad in comparison to other managers in that league. I am shaping up, if I go back to here, as 352B. a couple of options to vary things up from time to time. I try to have a good rotation in practically every position. If I'm honest, I think my defence could do with a little bit of an upgrade, maybe an additional CDM. I did look to secure a new goalkeeper. I don't know about you, but I'm a stickler for big, tall goalkeepers. I do believe it has an impact on their jumping reach, and I think I did the same for Marie here as well. 6'5" and 6'6". I got a couple of monsters in there. I went for this chap here, which I was quite happy with. Fernandez comes in at a 61 rated CM, but if I head over to MFL player info, here we go. I'll show you in here. I discovered through one of my previous videos, arguably one of the most popular on the channel at the moment, that he was a high value transfer target, and then I also discovered he was +2 at CAM. I liked his general output against the amount of games played. There's a few different factors going into that one. He's not played a ton of games considering how long he's been in the game for, so I do believe there's a little bit of progression there for me to unlock. I did a similar situation with Paul here. He came up rather highly rated as well. Brand new into the game during this season's pack drop, so I'm willing to take a bit of a punt, even if I just ride him out until the end of his career, effectively. Same for Mr. Borg here. I think he was brand new as well. Yeah, brand new to the game. 25 though. Was happy with generally the general makeup of his stats. Felt he was a little bit underpriced, if I'm honest. So I was happy to pick him up there at the price that I did. How much did I pay for him in the end? $11. I think he would have come out, if we just go to MFL player info, what's the last thing? Well, they're averaging out about 10. I put his value closer to $13 to $14, and I was happy to take that punt, knowing I'm going to at least get +1 overall at some point during his career. As long as he gets the game time and the decent training rating as well. So yeah, nice bit of rotation going on throughout the squad here. Some of them were pre-season before the pack drop. Doherty here, for example, was one. I thought he was a fairly solid looking player. I loved his shooting statistics as well. And he equally, like Fernandez, +4 at CAM. I love players like that. I think there's a lot of value to be had there. Fair few games and experience, so he's already had a decent amount of progression already, but I thought it was a nice rotation option. If I end up growing beyond him, he'll drop down nicely into the reserve squad as well. Speaking of the reserve squad, basically, I assigned all the players to the main team, looked at what I had left, analysed it. I did make some use of AI to evaluate and sort of compile a list. I saw quickly the sort of shape that I'd probably have to adopt given the sort of players I had. I've got flexibility in that. It is a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. I have got the option to play it wide, go to a 4-4-2. I've got lots of flexibility with this one. So this particular club, I don't think it's going to necessarily be rock bottom of a Spark League, if I'm very fortunate, and I'm not going to too many powerhouse teams in my Spark League when it's assigned. Then I can sort of aim for mid-table, if not focus on the cup, and I can do lots of tactic testing in competitive environments, not just the friendly mode, and really to optimise this one. Average age, fairly young. Got some younger players that just didn't have a home, thought I'd drop them in there. But the batting average is around the 23-24 mark. Hopefully I can get a nice bit of progression there as well, because a lot of these players are brand new to the game. With the post-season reward packs, the pack drop as well. I don't know about anybody else, but ever since the pack drop has finished, I've been itching to do more. I think I might have a bit of a problem there though. So yeah, definitely hoping to improve on last season's. I think the average squad rating was about 43, 44 for the team that I inherited last season. It's much higher now, as you've already seen. I am targeting promotion. That is the main goal of my Peacocks team, is to really push and get secure promotion. In regards to the loaned out players, I think I've got on average, I think a combined 10% rev share. I'm pretty certain these games and the percentage will be met basically, so we'll receive that. About 10% rev share at the moment that I've managed to secure across a mixture of Spark and Ice, bringing just a little bit more, be able to get a bit of an idea once the season goes live and we've got all the leagues in situ using Metaverse Lab. I'll include a link in today's subscription. I can use the MFL manager site to do some estimations. As you can see, best 11 is coming out at 675, which is a lot stronger than previous. I think it was about 425 previously last season. Best 6 average, and I can start looking at, okay, what's the strength of the squad across the board, and also how good are the rest of the players, teams in my league. So I can look at some projections, which he will use, I believe, the best 11 and things like these sort of metrics to do some projections in. But yeah, that is the situation as it is. I'd love to hear about how you're situated at the moment, how you're prepared for your season, what your hopes are for this coming season. I think all of us want to get out of Spark, so I think it's going to be the look of the draw as to how strong your opponents are in your respective league. But yeah, really hoping to secure promotion. If you are still active in the transfer window and you want to get a second opinion on the transfer targets you're going for, one of my previous videos has the transfer targets template, which, if I just load it up for you super quick, has it all on here. This is when I spent about 3 hours after the pack drop the other night, scouting relentlessly, looking to pick up players that I thought might be chucked on the market quick for a just quick turnaround, and seeing what value came out of those players there. The video explains this in more detail, and also if you want to make your own tailored version. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter or Discord, or even comment on the video on the channel. Happy to speak wherever. And yeah, good luck coming up for the new season, and I look forward to seeing you soon. See you later. Bye bye.